Familiar, you're familiar. So if you don't know by now, then you should probably get familiar.
What I really love about going to theme parks is the fact that you can leave all your troubles at the door and just be whoever you want to be, do whatever you want to do, and just enjoy yourself and forget about real life. That's what I love about going to theme parks.
Hello, my name is Thinking Theme Parks and I'm on the All Airtime channel because I have been asked to tell you, the viewer, all about why I love theme parks. Now this story has quite a lot of depth to it and it's not just your straight run-of-the-mill story about, oh I found this and I just really liked it. It's a fairly interesting story that I'm sure you might all like. So right now I'm 16 years old and my first memory of going to a theme park was when I was 3 in 2007, and that's when my parents took me to Chessington World of Adventures for the first time. And as a young kid I don't remember all of it, but what I do remember is just being so amazed by all of these themed rides and what was in them. I specifically remember 2 memories, one of which was going on the Bubbleworks ride and seeing the water flow through the little plug bit on the bottom and just being so fascinated by it and how this was possible and how this boat wasn't sinking but water was coming in. And I know that seems like a small thing, but that really has stuck with me throughout all my life. As a real recurring thing in this, theme parks just never really stopped being an interest of mine, but it has peaked in recent years. The other memory from Chessington is the Cobra theme piece in Toon Blaster, and I'm not sure why I only mainly remember these 2 things, but I do remember them. And a third thing I do remember, which I've just, for some reason has come into my memory, is going and looking at Vampire, and the height restriction boards, the classic things, where the kid's not tall enough and they're looking up at this giant ride, just like so upset that they can't go on it. That was me when I was 3. And I didn't really understand roller coasters, but I was looking at this huge ride going round with people on it, and it was obviously, it's an inverted coaster, so it was hanging down. I'd never really seen anything like it, and I was just amazed by that. I was blown away. Now these memories just didn't go anywhere. These have stayed with me. I've never forgotten them, and I never will. And that is the earliest memories I've got that really sparked my interest in theme parks. Now as I grew up and went into my teenage years, I didn't really visit any theme parks because I was only really like a small child going into my younger teenage years, about 10, 11, 12, and obviously I can't go to these places on my own. It was always just what my family did, and when I did go to theme parks, it would usually be Funland at Hayling Island or Portons Park, and that's the reason why I do really love Portons Park so much, because I used to visit it when I was younger, and when I did go to a theme park, it would probably be that. And I loved these rides, I loved going on rides, I liked themed experiences, I just loved all round being at a theme park. And on days where I was bored, I'd just think, man, I'd love to be at a theme park right now, but I barely ever go to them. And as the years went on and I started secondary school, I just wasn't really enjoying life as much as I was when I was sort of in primary school and everything was all happy-go-lucky. The change and transition really didn't agree with me, in the sense that I just wasn't enjoying as much of the things I used to. And then I was just going through YouTube and I was watching the classic top 10 videos of roller coasters you're not allowed to ride anymore. And that's when I came across, in the suggested box below that video, was Theme Park Worldwide. and I'd never seen these YouTube channels dedicated exactly to just theme parks. And I was just watching these videos with Sean Tambrook and all his friends going around these theme parks that, one, I'd never heard of, and two, was opened a whole new world of theme parks that I'd never even seen. Of course, you see the adverts when you're younger of Disneyland and Universal Orlando Resort, and that only shows you a small snippet of what's in them. But these videos and these vlogs by Theme Park Worldwide opened up the things that I'd never even thought imaginable through theme parks, the European parks, the ones over in America that aren't heavily advertised over here in the UK, because they're not in the major holiday destinations. When you do find these parks out, it's just so interesting to you. And I would just spend hours watching these videos of them going around the parks, and I'd look at a ride and I'd go, I need to know everything about that ride. I need to know who made it, when it came out, like the mechanisms, what the IP, what it's themed after, everything I needed to know. And then I would watch the on-ride POVs and just think, one day I'm going to go to these, and I still think that to this day, because I haven't actually been to that many parks still, but that will become another point further along in the video. So this is probably when I was around 13 and 14, it's around 2 years ago, and I was really getting interested in these parks. So then time went on, and I would carry on watching these Theme Park Worldwide videos, and I was coming across more theme park YouTubers, and then I thought, well, I kind of want to get involved in this. So then I started joining Facebook groups and Twitter. I started following people on Twitter on my personal account, and I was just seeing this whole new world unravel in front of me of this thing that I'd loved, and it just opened up into something I'd never even thought possible. And that's when I decided, you know, I'm going to throw myself into this. I am going to just become one of these enthusiasts, and that's pretty much what I've done since. But going forward from this point, a couple of years ago, I've really accelerated this. Now at this point, you've got to remember, I hadn't been on many like amazingly scary rides. I was still fairly scared of these huge coasters and flat rides, and I still found them very intimidating. But that was around 2 years ago that I decided I was going to go to Thorpe Park with some of my friends. Now I live in the south of England, and although I still want to go to Alton Towers, I haven't been there yet. And I know that might seem a bit ridiculous, seeing as I have a YouTube channel dedicated to theme parks, but it's kind of hard for me to just get around to all these places. I do have a job and I am earning money, so I will be going to them soon. But back to when I went to Thorpe Park, I went there with some of my friends, and I'd seen these videos, I knew everything about the park, and seeing this in person, after seeing it in all these videos, not just the videos, the In-Betweeners episode where they go to Thorpe Park as well, that really made it seem like this legendary thing to me that I'd seen and heard about and talked to so many people about, but I'd never experienced it, and I finally was going to. And I got off the bus from the train station in front of the park, and I could see all these roller coasters above the sort of landscape and skyline of the park, and I was completely blown away. I looked at it and I was just as excited as a little girl. I wanted to scream, and my friends were kind of all looking at me like, yo, what are you doing? But I don't think they kind of realised at the time this was probably one of the most exciting and biggest things I'd ever done. So I went to Thorpe Park that day, and I'd gone on all these amazing rides, and I just had like one of the best days ever. And that is the point where I really did think, right, I need to do this more. I love this feeling, I love being at these parks, and then I just got so involved in all of this ever since that point. But it goes even further than that, as I will say in just a second. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, I go through obsessions, and at this point the theme parks, and mainly Thorpe Park at this point, was my main obsession. But it hasn't disappeared in any way. It's still like as big as it was then, it is now, and I don't think that's ever going to change. It's kind of spread out recently, but since I got that annual pass, pretty much every 2 weeks or so I was at Thorpe Park. I've lost count how many times I went to that park last year, and I went there with other people, mainly my friends. Then I went with my girlfriend and some of her family, and then my family as well. And sharing that with more people was a really good experience, and I liked trying to tell people about the parks. Obviously I didn't want to sound too annoying, because I think that's something theme park enthusiasts can be a bit guilty of when there's just sort of general public in the parks. But sharing that with other people, and being known as someone who's really interested in these and knows all these things, and that felt good to have an interest that I knew a lot about and I was really involved in. So I was there and I wanted to make vlogs, and that was around the time last year when I made my first Thorpe Park vlog. It's still on my channel. It's not very well edited, it's not the best vlog, and it's not the longest, but you've got to start somewhere, and that is where I started. And I loved making that video. I loved taking the footage home and editing that down on iMovie on my phone. I had no equipment, I didn't even have a laptop. I just threw it together with the resources I had, and that's what I'll still continue to do. I won't go out of my way to spend loads of money on fancy equipment for my videos. I will just use what I've got and do the best I can with that, unless obviously the videos aren't very good. But this of course is about the theme parks in general, and the internet culture around the theme parks and the community is really what drew me into that as well. And with all the people involved in it, you really become immersed in all these YouTubers that you watch, and it teaches you so much. And obviously, without trying to sound so big-headed, it really gives you something to occupy your time with, to think about, to maybe even pursue a career in if that's what you want to do. And it's just so interesting, and so many of us love theme parks for all manner of reasons, but it all boils down to the rides and themed areas and the people that we visit these parks with, and then the people online that we discuss these parks with, and then the people online that watch us go to these parks, and the people we watch go to the parks, and the people we talk about with the parks. And it's all around the parks, but there's a bigger thing about that, and that is the theme park community. And that is half the reason why I did fall in love with these parks. I'd say about 25% because of the parks themselves and the rides, and then another 25% just because I'm autistic, and this was like one of the most amazing things in the world to me. Now, this video might have seemed a bit rambly, and it's probably gone on for far too long, but I've said everything I need to say. Thanks for all Airtime for including me in their video and on their channel. Big thanks to you guys, and if you wouldn't mind checking out Thinking Theme Parks on YouTube, bit of a shameless plug I know, but it would mean a lot to me. We're nearing 100 subscribers, and I'm really loving the theme parks right now, even though we can't get to them. So let's hope they open soon, and once again, a big thank you to all Airtime for having me on this video. Goodbye guys.